Hello and welcome to the Money Show, and today we're going to be talking about the insurance space, that what's happening in the insurance space and which are some of the key insurance policy we generally tend to avoid. And if you are looking to go ahead and buy an insurance cover like in health or a life cover for you or your families, then yes, what should be your stepping stones in that? What should be your first steps for that as well? So let's try and find an answer to all of these questions. We are being joined by Pradeep Funde, Senior Vice President at Anand Rathi Insurance Brokers. Hi Pradeep, thank you so much for your time. Like we work in the corporate, we are quite dependent on the health insurance policy that actually our organizations cater to. This is one of the key policies that gets ignored because we do have a substitute or a backup plan for us. So what's your take on this phenomena that we are getting to observe, as well as why is there a need to go ahead and buy a separate health insurance policy as per you?
Hi, Trishti. Good evening. So, interesting times these if you're an insurance buyer. Government, the regulator, both alike are pushing insurance, the awareness all around. You have plethora of products that are there that you can buy off. Now, when you really look at what you buy, is that all these years you've been buying very basic products that have been pushed at you. Now is the time that you need to correct your basics. So first and foremost, when we talk about as to what has to be bought, I would really want to understand whether the coverages that you brought have adequate sum insured when we talk about the health insurance per se, even the life insurance per se. Now, if you look at how the market has grown, it has grown many folds. The expenses that you have for hospitalization have grown 500% over last decade. So first thing I would want anybody who's looking out to see whether he is adequately insured, the sum insured is adequate enough to take care of all the ailments that he think that he would face in future. So if you have a policy which says 5 lakhs, I would suggest go for a top-up policy if you don't have top-up policy. Look out and watch out for some illnesses that have prolonged, sustained procedures that they have. For instance, a heart ailment, a kidney failure. So are you prepared for these critical illnesses? So be prepared for those critical illnesses as well. You have miscellaneous expenses around whenever you have this hospitalization. So be prepared for those miscellaneous expenses as well. And then there are so many wonderful covers that are available in the market, which say 5 years ago were very difficult to think of. Now you have all those that you can buy from. Yeah, Shrishti.
Okay, but thank you so much for your take on one's need to have a health insurance policy. But wanted to have your take on, apart from the health and the life insurance policy, which are some of the other policies, Pradeep, that one should really look out for, and any key highlights that you wish to give for our viewers, that specifically what they need to see in these policies.
You coming from the point of view of health insurance, or you want to divert from the apart from
health
the health
insurance will be great.
Okay. So now what products, so you would want to understand as to what are the products that are coming in the market, right? The products that now you have actually cover the policy, the coverages which were exclusions to start off with. For instance, medical mein aapko, you never had gauges, the expendables that were covered in the policy. Now you have policies which actually cover, you have riders that are available in the market, which you can go and buy from. Trishti.
And Pradeep, anything that you wish to highlight on the top-up policy, because this aspect is something that a lot of our viewers would like to know. So what will be your take, that how should they go and plan for a top-up policy?
So Shrishti, when it comes to a base policy, the base policies that people have been buying over these years has been 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs. And that is what they've been doing. Even the corporates that give the policy, they give up to maximum 5 lakhs. Now there is a plethora of top-up policies that you have. And these are available at very, very cheap premiums as well. So you have some insurers like Bajaj, even the PSUs, who gives you top-up policies to an extent of 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, up to 2 crores. Would you believe that? So if I have a base policy, which is 2 lakhs, you can look for a top-up policy, which has a threshold of 2 lakhs, which means any expense that is over and about 2 lakhs can be covered from this top-up policy. It is a must policy, I must say. So that is how it works. So look out. So if it is a policy which has your family in it, it's a family floater, then I would suggest go for a higher sum insured, because that is what is required in days to come. If you have an individual policy, I would say at least 50 lakhs in days to come, since the medical expenses have gone from say 5,000 to 30,000 in last 5-6 years. So that is how you look at top up. So go ahead, buy a top up which is above a base plan that you have. If you do not have a base plan, I would suggest you go for a base plan and then try to get a top up policy on that base plan.
What about the hospital cash insurance policy? What is actually interesting about this particular policy, and why should one go for it?
So, Shrishti, when we have an hospitalization, there are miscellaneous expenses. For instance, if in India, normally a class C person gets hospitalized into a B or a class A city. Now, apart from what you're going to incur at the hospital, there are other miscellaneous expenses, food, maybe boarding, lodging, expenses that you'll incur when you're in a particular city. These are all the expenses, they still pinch your pocket. But these are not covered by any insurance per se. So this is one cover which will give you a fixed sum insured, a fixed amount for particular day that you are hospitalized. For instance, if you are hospitalized for 5 days, and if I take a cover which is a 500, then you get 500 for 5 days, 25,000, 2,500 that way. These coverages can be taken from 500 to 25,000 per day. So this is that vast. So if I were to think that my other miscellaneous expenses are going to be more than 2,000, 3,000 per day, then I would take an hospital cash policy which would cover me for that, because that again is an expenses that pinches your pocket.
Understand, but what's your take, Pradeep, coming in on the personal accident policy? What all is covered in that one, and why should one really look at having this one for himself or any of his family members? Are we allowed to add any of the riders in this?
So personal accident policy is one policy which people have been only taking if their company or the corporate is actually giving. That is how normally personal accident has been looked upon in India. Now, personal accident is a very critical policy in a sense that it not only caters to a death in an accident, but it also caters to disability due to an accident. So living with a disability post an accident is more expensive than the actual procedure you might have had during the accident or the hospitalization. Now, this policy will help you cater those needs. When you are disabled, you'll get a fixed sum, the overall sum insured. It's a benefit policy. You'll get a claim on that, which might help you to actually take care of the disabilities. One. Two is when you are actually hospitalized, the recovery might be a bit long, say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Then you might start losing your salary. One, you might start affecting your EMIs that you have for your house or the other aspects. Now, these are the riders that are available in personal accident policies, which can be added to a base policy and which will help you in all this cases which you require actually.
Okay, Pradeep, thank you so much for highlighting a lot of these factors related to the health insurance policy specifically, but a lot of points that we have discussed. So before we let you go, any particular policy that you wish to highlight for our viewers where they can actually go ahead and look out for all these factors and compare it with their needs and then take a decision? Any of your top policies at this point in time?
So there are various good policies that are available. If I will talk about personal accident, as we discussed, there's this global personal accident policy that Bajaj Allianz has. There are so many good critical illness policies that one I can think of as an HDFC policy. You have ICICI Prudential, which is actually selling some good riders along with the life policies. These are the policies that you should really go and find yourself in the market and get insured for yourself.
Okay, Pradeep. Now let's talk a bit more about the life insurance cover. Pradeep, why do you believe that there is a need for a life insurance cover starting from the basics? And at what age actually should one go ahead and have a life insurance cover? How to have the least of the premiums? What's your take on that?
So life insurance cover is one cover which you start earlier, the better. Because as you grow, not only do the premiums go high, one, but then you have medical complications coming in, and the underwriter normally then comes up with all medical examination that he might want to have with you. Age will have those factors coming in. So the earlier, the better. But first thing first, you should always go for a term plan for yourself. First thing you do, you should, at the age of say 20, the first salary that you have, please make sure that you start buying, at least you start putting and investing some part into life insurance. Because as you grow, so there's this life insurance policies have a certain period by which you pay the premium as well. For instance, you can end up paying the premium for a crore rupee in 7 years. That is the easiest way you do. When you have liabilities, when you grow old, the premium also grows, and then you start thinking about whether I should have X amount of coverage, Y amount of coverage. All these things start getting onto your mind. And of course, your health, which the underwriter would then look at and then might not really give you the coverage which you desire. So the earlier, the better.
Absolutely, the earlier the better. But in life insurance policy, Pradeep, when we actually go ahead and take a decision, any of the tax advantages that you wish to highlight for our viewers?
Oh, yes. So we have the ATD tax. So any insurance policy, health or life policies, does have a tax advantage attached to it in India. Still, there were rumors that might go off, but then thankfully it still continues. So there's this ATD provision which you should. So I look at it from this way. Now people come and talk about discounts while giving insurance. Everybody will come and say, so I have not got discount. Is there? So India is an emotional buyer market. So I go to the insureds and tell them that if you buy this, you're readily going to get, say, whatever your tax slab is, 20%, 30%, the straight discount that's going to come back to you in your salary. So why not take that and think of it as a discount and buy yourself a policy, get yourself insured.
Okay, Pradeep, with this, we'll let you go on that. Thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and helping all our viewers understand that why these health and life covers are important at this point in time, and also highlighting that what interesting factors that you need to be looking out for, any new add-ons that you should be looking out for when it comes to getting these policies for you. But with this, fears, it's time to slip into a very short break in this edition of The Money Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more discussion.